It's your family or the law. If a relative or a loved one protested their innocence of a crime but you knew otherwise, what would you do? Would you stand by your own flesh and blood, or would you stand up for truth, justice and the law? Well, last night in Coronation Street, Deirdre started to doubt daughter Tracy. She's, of course, accused of murdering ex-love Charlie, but insists she's innocent. So what did Deirdre do? Did she keep schtumm? Did she run and tell the Rozzers? No, she had a word with husband Ken.
That tape, I destroyed it, which part of me wishes I hadn't, but I want to believe her. I so much want to believe her.
And it's what you saw on that tape that's stopping you?
Well, that and the way she's behaving and the way she talks. As if her lawyers even are beginning to wonder.
They're asking questions because it's their job to ask questions.
And what's our job? To stand by her, no matter what we think, never to question anything? Because I'm beginning to think I can't do that.
Got a deep voice, hasn't she, Deirdre, these days? So what would you do if you... It's a bit like Joe O'Meara, isn't it? What would you do if you were in her shoes? And should you blow the whistle, or should blood always be thicker than water? Now, here's a question. Is there a difference between lying to protect a guilty relative and just keeping quiet? I'm always amazed by the numbers of you who've dobbed in loved ones. It dobbed them into the police for, I don't know, drugs, drink driving, all kinds of stuff. Maybe it depends on the crime. Perhaps you could live with yourself for standing by a daughter accused of defrauding a bank, but not a son accused of murder. And not that I'm suggesting your sons have caused any murders at all, or indeed will.
Absolutely.
He's murdered his hair.
They'd better not.
Right.
He's murdered his hair.
Yeah, eldest has gone maroon. Suddenly, overnight, it was quite a shock.
So if you heard something, if he was accused of a crime and you suspected that he was guilty, what would you do?
I don't know. My instincts as a mother would be I would have to know, I would want to know the truth from him, and I would grill him until he was blue in the face, until I got an answer that I thought I could believe. But either way, you know, he's my child, and I think I would probably lie until I was blue in the face.
You would lie? You wouldn't keep schtumm and just not say a thing?
Would you fit him up with an alibi?
Yes, I would. I would lie. Yes, I would. I would. It's my child, and I would. And I'm sorry, that's all there is to it. If he'd done something
this
totally...
is conspiracy to commit perjury.
Totally horrendous. Is that it now? Am I going to prison or community service? This is why I'm arguing for community service and lower actual terms.
You don't want to go.
No, I just think if, on the other hand, he'd done something so despicable I couldn't forgive, I suppose it would. Yeah, it would come down to a moral judgment that I would have to make on him. If he'd done something so despicable I couldn't forgive, then I probably would. I don't know what I'd do. I'd try and get him to admit to it and face up to his crime. Yeah. I think that's what I'd do. But if it came to a point where it's one of these petty squabbles between officialdom and you, I would stand up for my child. I would lie for him. I would do what's necessary.
So you would commit a crime that carries up to 7 years in prison to protect your own child?
Yeah, yes, is the short answer, yes. It's very complicated, of course, but yes.
Wow. Robert, what would you do?
I wouldn't fit up an alibi, and I wouldn't lie in court like that. You see, whenever you go to court, you see people innocently lying on behalf of the family. I would go. It would take a great deal for me to denounce my family, to take them off to the police and do all that, like in the old Soviet style.
You'll be amazed, by the way, how many people do it when they phone in. I mean, you get loads of people.
But I would go as far. I would try and persuade them to make reparation and go down that route for as long as possible.
Can I just ask, on the notion of not lying in court, is that because you have a profound respect for the law? Is that why? Well,
if they asked me, were you there then, or was he there then, and I would say the truth. Yeah, I think so. I would. Yeah, I don't think I would want to. If you find yourself in the witness box, yeah, you try and say what actually happened.
Okay, Ed.
Yeah, I think if your child committed a serious crime, you know, beat someone up or murdered someone, I think you would, and you knew it to be the case, you know, I think you would be. I think I probably would.
Okay, what about lesser crimes?
I think again, it is a scale of offences, and for example, Deirdre Barlow in that clip, she says what is her job. I do think her job is to stand by her daughter. And I remember vividly being on this show once, and we were discussing, there was a famous point when they were hunting someone, and the paparazzi were hounding this bloke's mother, and she left a note on the door saying, whatever he's done, I still love him.
Yes.
We had this most extraordinary call from some bloke who said, my son's in prison for murder, I think he should hang, but I still love him. But
right,
I remember that all vividly. But I think your job as a parent is to stand by your child as much as possible, but not to lie for them, and also not necessarily to, and I agree with Robert, to get them to face up to their crime if it's serious. Now, I think what she did with the video, I probably would have done, not because it's, I'm not saying it's a crime, because I think it's open to interpretation. If my son was up for a trial and I knew he was kind of talking to a witness, I'd say, for God's sake, you are being an absolute idiot. You're going to get yourself into so much trouble. Now, we're going to draw a line here. I'm not going to say anything to anyone, but don't...
So you're actually talking about the keep schtumm option?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say anything, but don't do it, because you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble.
So you could live that on your conscience?
Absolutely, yeah. But only because I think if you think they're innocent and they're just really making a huge mistake because they're under so much pressure.
Okay.
You can't be judge and jury. You're being invited to make a judgment on what are probably quite grey facts, and you're not absolutely sure whether and if you know for sure that something's happened, yes, fine. But you often don't know quite exactly what's happened.
Also, I think when you read the stories about people shopping their loved ones, they're often shopping them because they think it's going to help them. Like the story that I read recently about the guy who shopped his wife, who was driving drunk with their 2 children. He called the police not because he thought this is the public spirit of things to do, because he desperately wanted his wife to get some help.
Okay.
And if she was arrested, she'd face up to it.
Well, let's find out whether you would stand up for your family or stand up for law and order.